Hello, my name is Theo Samoris, and this presentation is going to cover the Supreme Court case of McDonald versus Chicago. McDonald versus Chicago is a Supreme Court case that deals with the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment states, "A well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed." This case was brought to the Supreme Court courtesy of a man named Otis McDonald. Otis McDonald was a 76-year-old man who was sick and tired of his neighborhood being overran and turning into the ghetto. After multiple break-ins and numerous things being stolen from Otis McDonald, he decided that it was enough. It was time to respond. Here we have a typical situation in Otis McDonald's neighborhood. 3 African American males plotting to rob McDonald's house. As time goes by and night settles in, the burglars are ready to attack. McDonald's house is being robbed and he can hear the culprits at his doorstep. Now it is time to catch them red-handed. Under the laws of the city of Chicago, Otis McDonald is not allowed to own a handgun. His only weapon is his voice. In this situation, Otis McDonald's weapon worked. His voice was able to get the culprits off of his property and out of the area. If Otis McDonald and fellow Chicago residents were granted the right to bear arms, things would have gone down much differently in Chicago. The people want their guns and deserve their guns, and that is why Otis fought for those guns. People needed them and people deserved them. Otis McDonald would have had the full right to shoot and kill anybody who trespassed at his house. This is something that Otis McDonald felt he needed. After numerous incidents, McDonald decided it was time to go to the courts. After the long court process, McDonald's case finally made it to the Supreme Court. After review, the Supreme Court ruled that Chicago had made a handgun law that was unconstitutional. Chicago made it virtually impossible for anyone to acquire or own a handgun who lived in Chicago. Chicago did not ban handguns, but they put in 4 regulations that made it nearly impossible to get a handgun. After McDonald's hard work through his fellow Chicago residents and himself, he finally was granted the right to own and bear a handgun. This is something that was huge to McDonald himself and the city of Chicago. Chicago now was free and no longer unconstitutional. The Second Amendment was back into play, and now everybody was able to have a handgun. This is something that needed to happen in the city of Chicago and did happen in the city of Chicago.